Power, for the longest time, was a gray-haired affair in Africa. It was common to see leaders in their 70s, 80s, even 90s, clinging to power decade after decade. But now, something is changing. A bold new chapter is being written. By young, daring, and often unexpected men, some barely in their 30s, who are shaking the foundations of African leadership. They're revolutionaries. They're disruptors. They're commanders and dreamers and fighters. Today, we bring you Africa's youngest presidents, every one of them under 50. Their stories will surprise you. Their paths to power were anything but ordinary. But their presence at the top marks a new era. Let's begin. Number 6. Brice Oligui Nguema, Gabon. Age, 49. Took power, 2023. We begin with a man who ended a dynasty. Brice Oligui Nguema, former head of Gabon's presidential guard, seized power in 2023 after toppling President Ali Bongo, whose family had ruled Gabon for over 55 years. The coup came just hours after Bongo was declared winner of a controversial election. Nguema, just 47 at the time, made a bold promise to restore democracy, reform the economy, and clean up decades of alleged corruption. He arrived not in golden robes, but in military fatigues, a soldier with a mission. Now 49, Nguema walks a fine line between transitional leader and potential long-term president. And while critics fear yet another strongman in power, many Gabonese see him as a reset button for a country trapped in old politics. Will he hand over power, or be seduced by it? Only time will tell. Number 5. Mahamat Idriss Déby, Chad. Age, 39. Took power, 2021. When President Idriss Déby of Chad was killed on the battlefield in 2021, yes, on the battlefield, the world was shocked. But what followed was even more surprising. His 37-year-old son, Mahamat Idriss Déby, a little-known general, was named interim president by the military. Just like that, power was passed, not through ballots, but bullets. At just 39, Mahamat leads a country plagued by insecurity, extremism, and poverty. He promised a short transition and democratic elections. But 4 years later, he still holds power. Some see him as a stabilizing force in a volatile region. Others call it a dynastic coup in disguise. But one thing is clear. Mahamat is the youngest leader in Central Africa, and he now holds the fate of over 18 million people in his hands. Number 4. Assimi Goïta, Mali. Age, 41. Took power, 2021. Mali has seen more coups than elections in recent years, but none shook the nation more than the one led by a soft-spoken, unassuming soldier named Assimi Goïta. At just 38 years old, Goïta removed the civilian government in 2021, citing corruption and foreign interference. But who is he? A devout Muslim, a trained special forces commander, and now, the 41-year-old interim president of Mali. Goïta has since kicked out French forces, welcomed Russian security contractors, and pushed a hard message of Malian sovereignty. He speaks little, smiles less, but his silent demeanor conceals a man fully in charge. To some, he's a patriot. To others, a dangerous figure of military overreach. But no one can deny this. At 41, Goïta has become one of West Africa's most powerful and polarizing leaders. Number 3. Mamadi Doumbouya, Guinea. Age, 44. Took power, 2021. Mamadi Doumbouya isn't your average president. He's a towering, red beret-wearing former French legionnaire who stormed Guinea's presidential palace in 2021 and declared, "The era of political manipulation is over." At just 41, Doumbouya became Guinea's new leader, promising to dismantle corruption and restore dignity to the people. He's since launched reforms, rewritten the constitution, and reshaped Guinea's image on the world stage. And he does it all with a larger-than-life presence, sunglasses, crisp military uniform, and booming speeches. Some say he's a showman. Others call him a revolutionary. But as he approaches 45, one thing is clear. Doumbouya represents a generation tired of waiting and willing to take power by force if they must. Number 2. Bassirou Diomaye Faye, Senegal. Age: 44. Took power 2024. In a sea of military takeovers, Bassirou Diomaye Faye is a rare thing, a young African president chosen by the people. But here's what makes his story jaw-dropping. In early 2024, Faye was sitting in a Senegalese prison, jailed for criticizing the government. Just 2 months later, he was elected president in a landslide. At 44, he became Africa's youngest democratically elected leader. A quiet intellectual, Faye has promised to clean up Senegalese politics, reduce dependency on the West, and deliver real opportunities to the youth. He doesn't shout, he doesn't parade, but his calm tone and clean image have made him a symbol of hope for millions. And for the first time in decades, Senegal, once seen as the most stable democracy in West Africa, is now being led by one of its youngest sons. Number 1. Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso. Age: 36. Took power 2022. And now, number 1. The youngest president in all of Africa, Ibrahim Traoré. Age: 36. He led a military coup in 2022 at just 34 years old, shocking even those inside Burkina Faso's government. Traoré says he took power not for ambition, but to save his country from terror groups, poverty, and political decay. He's become a social media icon across Africa. Images of him in fatigues, surrounded by youth, calling for African unity, are viral staples on TikTok and X. To his supporters, he's a Pan-African revolutionary. To his critics, another military ruler with good PR. But love him or hate him, Traoré represents something undeniable, a new African identity. Young, defiant, unapologetically homegrown, at just 36, he now leads a nation and a generation. So there you have it, Africa's youngest presidents, all under 50. Their paths to power were anything but ordinary. Most didn't come through elections. Some came through fire, force, and fury. But whether in suits or fatigues, ballots or coups, these 6 men now lead millions. They are the face of Africa's next chapter. Bold, complicated, young, and very, very powerful. Who inspired you most? You believe Africa is ready for more youth in power? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're building a bold Pan-African community, and your voice matters. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep watching the Kenyan Star, where we tell African stories the world needs to hear.